To welcome Omni TV political analyst Kim Emerson to the program now, live from Victoria. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
Let's dive right in here. The headline is quite something. Mike Harcourt, former BC Premier, quits the NDP party. What does this mean?
Well, in some ways, I think this is a bit of a calculated move because the NDP has gone through this whole exercise of navel-gazing, trying to figure out why they lost the last election. They've got a new leadership race on because Adrian Dix decided that he was going to take some responsibility for the loss in the election, and rightfully so. So Mike Harcourt deciding that he's not going to be a member of the party anymore for a few reasons. And one of them is that the NDP didn't support the carbon tax back in 2009, and then the revolt against Carol James, where the knives came out long and hard and were stabbed into her back. He didn't like that situation. And the one that he said finally broke the camel's back was the Kinder Morgan situation, where Adrian Dix came out mid-campaign and said that he wasn't going to support the Kinder Morgan pipeline. Now, during the election, Mike Harcourt defended Adrian's actions, but that's a guy who's getting on board with his party, doing what he needs to do for the party, the way Mike Harcourt has always done. Mike Harcourt's done far more for the NDP than the NDP has ever done for him. You may remember the Nanaimo Bingo-gate scandal.
Yes.
Mike Harcourt wasn't involved in that. He took the bullet for the team. He stepped down as premier and walked away and took the hit for the entire party. And, that's why this is such a big deal. This guy is a giant with the NDP. He led them out of the wilderness in the early 90s, brought them to power, the first premier since Dave Barrett in the 70s. So when he stands up and says exactly what all kinds of other people have been saying, people pay attention, people listen. He's saying, I'm not going to be a member of the party until you guys get this right, until you start to figure out that we need not just environmental issues going our way, we also need to be able to sustain jobs throughout the entire province, and that is not what was going on during the election.
Indeed, and that's one of the things that it seems Mike Harcourt is doing in trying to galvanize his reputation and his voice for the working man and woman that isn't, based in the greener initiatives, like the pipelines, like the logging, like the important trades that are so big for British Columbians.
Mike Harcourt never lost sight of that. When he was the premier, he knew. He actually went on TV one time and talked about BC being a big province, a province with big trees and big mountains and mines. And he went through the whole list because he knows the importance of all of that to all of BC. It's not just a big deal to have jobs in the north. Those jobs in the north pay for people in the south of the province as well. And he always knew that. It seemed to the electorate, at least, that Adrian Dix didn't get that. It seemed to the electorate that Adrian Dix was all about the environment, and that will not fly with anybody. You've got to understand the jobs that are out there for people, the resource industry that's out there. That's what we are. We're drawers of water and hewers of wood. That's BC.
So ultimately, this massive move by Mike Harcourt is to see the NDP party remove Adrian Dix and rejoin the party. Is that how you see it playing out?
No, Adrian Dix was going to be out as premier anyway, but he's going to be with the party. He's an instrumental person to have with the party. He's extremely bright. He's extremely hardworking. He perhaps was not the right guy to select as the leader of the party at that time, but he will remain with the party. It's not a measure to get rid of Adrian Dix, but it certainly is a measure, and I think a calculated move, as I said from the beginning, by Mike Harcourt and maybe some of the people around him to wake the party up a little bit. I mean, they went through their whole navel-gazing exercise, and that didn't really seem to wake them up as much as they needed. This certainly will, and this will certainly refocus attention on what is right now a two-person race to become the new leader of the NDP. And in a funny way, Harcourt, while he dissed Mike Farnworth for not being in touch with him in the last 3 years, he kind of supported John Horgan in his comments just the other day.
It is such a massive game of political chess. Thank goodness you are so good at navigating us through that. Kim Emerson, anytime you can work navel-gazing into a political commentary, not once but twice, I am on your team. Thank you so much,
All right,
Kim.
Thank you.